I'm Chia, and I have, for the last 10 years, I've been slowly and but surely coming out, and it's been a struggle because I've been coming out under the eyes of the Christian church. I am the daughter of a pastor, and when I was 13 years old, I had to tell my family that I'm bisexual. And I remember when I told my sisters, they were all so accepting and so ready to just be there for me and accept me for who I was. But when it came time to tell my parents, I told my mom first, and she was like, just don't tell your dad yet, because it's just a phase. I thought I was going to marry my best friend when I was your age, and I didn't. I married your father because I'm very straight, and so are you. But that is not the case, and was not the case back then. So I waited about a year before finally telling my dad, and I was so nervous, and it took so much in me to not tell my dad every time he ranted about homosexuality and how wrong it was, to just not blurt out, I'm gay, right? But I didn't, and when I finally did tell him, I was like, I just need to tell you something important. And I told him, and he went, honestly, I thought I would have been your brother. That was not taken the way that it should have been taken either. But I was not expecting him to take it the way that he did, and I was expecting him to yell at me or do something and react in a negative way, and he was just like, if this is who you are, this is who you are, and I'm gonna work on myself so that I can truly love you the way that you need to be loved. And he has worked on himself, and he has stood up for me more than I ever thought he would. And it's been almost 10 years since I told him, and he is amazing. But I had to deal with loved ones not reacting in the best ways. I had a loved one, when I told her, tell me that God knows what's in our hearts, and if I didn't want it, we could pray together, and we could pray for him to take it away. And then I had loved ones react very differently from that and just go, so you're attracted to women? And I'm like, yes I am. And there's my sister that was like, you're attracted to women? Okay, so let's make a deal. You're gonna tell me when people are attractive. And I was like, okay. And she goes, I'm gonna name up some people, and I need you to tell me if they're attractive or not. And I'm like, okay. And she goes, Haley Williams. And I'm like, 100%. And she starts naming out celebrities and asking me if they're attractive or not, and asking me to rank them on a scale of 1 to 10. And so, that has been our relationship, where she just asks me how attractive somebody is, or if I find them attractive. And she's been my biggest supporter throughout all of this. And my family was really good at keeping it to themselves and not going around and telling everybody, hey, my loved one's gay, because it wasn't their thing to tell people about. But it eventually got out when I was in high school, and I had people on my cheer squad who did not like it. And I had people refuse to be my flyer anymore because they didn't want me touching them. And it took other people standing up for me and saying that just because I'm attracted to women doesn't mean I'm attracted to them. And I had people in my church who didn't react well, but for the most part, my church reacted really, really well. I was outed to my entire church by one of the youth leaders in my youth group after I was caught on a youth group camping trip with another one of the teens who identified as female at that point. And he outed me to my entire church and was expecting the church to turn their backs on me. And he turned his back on me and treated me completely different. He made it so that I was no longer allowed to do childcare for a lot of the families. And it was hard because I loved working with children. I still love working with children, but a lot of families didn't want it. But I know that for a lot of queer people, growing up in the Christian church can be really hard because you're told that who you are is not okay, who you are is a sin, who you love is a sin, and that's not true, because God teaches love and acceptance of your neighbors, and that's not what a lot of people want you to believe. And I think it's really important as a queer person in the Christian church to speak out against what people say and how people treat others, and show the true love of God to those around you. And ever since coming out and how I was treated by some people in my church, I have made it a point in my life to stand up for those who are not treated that same way and be a people's advocate. And I just hope that one day people are not treated poorly by the Christian church anymore, and they're more accepted for who they truly are. And I know that that's who I plan to be for everyone around me. And I know that that's who my family is planning on raising future generations to be as well. And I just hope that we can continue that cycle of acceptance and love for the future queer generations.